That's too bad.
And we should be back live, are we?
I'm ready. Oh. Give us some love here. Let's see.
That should be fine.
We're live. Yes, we're live. We're back. I'm going to click on it. It says live now. Started streaming less than 1 minute ago. Here we are. Got my head up. Volume is off. And we're back. Welcome. Those of you who are looking at us who've been following us bouncing around YouTube all day. Dodgy connections. YouTube seems to be stretched to the limits with everybody streaming on deadline day. All of us crazies hoping against hope that there's one more move in this day, one more move in this window, but we'll see.
Cool, we can
We're
hope.
still 2 hours and 8 minutes. Um, we shall see.
I just went on, I googled YouTube issues, and there's been quite a few reports of it.
Yeah, well, I doubt we're alone in that regard. This is old news. Let me scroll. Let's see what the group is saying. There's your. Look at the Nelson shirt. Hmm.
Yeah, I ordered the Fire Nude.
The Reese Nelson top.
Yeah, number 14.
Sexy.
Waiting for Bellerin to be announced. I'm going to order the BT shirt as well.
How's the collection going, Sam? Still growing?
Yeah, still growing. I've got to the stage now where I'm looking for shirts, but they're like 100 plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm at that stage. But
Sam, how long does the shirts take to be dispatched?
what from Soccer Lord? About
Yeah.
two weeks.
Oh, they just emailed me there saying,
It's completed.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll take about 2 weeks to get to you.
That's alright. Straight after the international break, we'll film at the bar, and Reece Nelson is going to be my player.
Fair
You can
play.
wear the shirt to the at the bar. There you go.
Yeah, we need to start recording that again. That's a great show.
Yeah, no, we will.
It's just finding the time now, me and your dad.
Huh?
It's just finding the time now we've got children.
Oh, mate, honestly.
Can't just drink at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning like we used to.
That's just ridiculous. Like 10 o'clock. Get some beers in and at the bar.
Let's go.
It was lockdown. It's fine. Day drinking and that.
It's allowed.
Yeah.
Uh, anything happened on the old internet, or are we still
Randerson's been confirmed as gone.
good?
YouTube's down again. It's saying
Standard.
That
YouTube
was
is not
quick.
receiving it. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Oh,
We
So,
might just have to turn it off, lads.
okay. Well, we can put a message
It's,
out. It's been, I think we've carried this baton absent
yeah.
a late move. We pretty much wrung every drop of juice out of today. What they could do, what they might do. Unfortunately, it's in Edu's hands. So what are we not going to do? Bring in a midfielder. So
I just tested my internet and it's completely fine, so it's on YouTube side.
well,
is it still up at the moment?
Yeah, it's just not showing video.
unfortunately,
I've got video.
Yeah, but it's not. It's in and out, isn't it?
No, it wasn't. Still running
Sure.
clear.
Interesting. I don't know. All right, carry on then.
Why not? I got 1 more hour in me. We're on
Um,
live.
Are we getting? You should be ready to come on.
Okay.
To be honest, I might have to move my setup to the living room so Taylor can go to bed.
Come again?
Might have to move all my stuff into the living room so Taylor can go to bed.
All right. David Ornstein just tweeted this seconds ago. Our Marseille had offers for Boubacar Kamara from Wolves and Newcastle. They won its sale, as in final year with no agreement on new deal. But the 21-year-old rejected both, has decided to stay and will renew or go as a free agent.
Sign him on a free pre-contract in January. Let's do it.
It'll be the first move of our new director of football.
This is the thing. I'm pretty certain there's quite a few bargains to have in this January window on pre
That ordinarily aren't there, right? Because players are running their contracts down. Or here's one of them. Think how many players we're going to have. Lacazette's going to do that. Right.
Lacazette just needs to get out, to be honest.
Well, if he signs a pre-contract, we should just move him on. Say, hey, you want him now? Take him away. Get him off the books.
Honestly, like I said to Ryan so many times, like if I've got to watch King Lacazette run around doing nothing as per usual, I'm gonna give my
trying to play number 10.
Gonna give
drop into midfield.
15. Yeah.
Pick up the ball. Right.
There's gonna be a lot of games on season ticket. Cannot believe it.
So Runnison has got a buy option.
Lovely.
I reckon that might turn into an obligation with certain conditions.
I mean, it makes sense. Would make sense.
Did you see what Odegaard said in his press conference?
About the all or nothing.
No, absolutely everything that's been reported about me in the Spanish media is wrong. I'm so happy to be back at Arsenal. I loved it here from the first day I came in January.
Yeah, well, we talked about this, that as soon as it was clear that they might sell him, the Spanish press turned on a dime, and suddenly he didn't want to fight, and he was weak, and right, they pushed him out the door.
Fenerbahce's president was basically called out Sead Kolasinac.
Really?
Sead Kolasinac' side contacted us. They asked for a 3-year contract and a 3-year million euros per year with a 3 million signing on fee.
Wow.
Kolasinac won't be joining Fenerbahce now.
Sorry, did he say that he signed the contract? Or just agreed it?
Who's that?
The president.
No, he said that Sead Kolasinac' side contacted us. They asked for a 3-year contract and a 3 million euros per year with a 3 million signing on fee.
You're not making out. You haven't made enough at Arsenal.
Jesus Christ.
Stuart is back. Hello, Stuart. Welcome. Thanks for joining us and following us on this crazy day.
I'll send him the link.
And now that's been put out there, what do you think he's going to make when he's a free agent?
Do you know what? I don't even think it's viable for him to go back to Germany.
Not anymore.
After his stint at Schalke.
So, West Ham signings this summer. Let's look at the teams above us. Who finished above us? 7th. Who finished 7th? Spurs. What? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So who did they sign this time?
Wolves finished below us.
Yeah,
Spurs, West Ham.
Spurs. Who did they sign? Emerson.
They tried for a lot of people. They didn't really succeed.
They got Emerson, Romero, centre back, Golini, the goalkeeper. Who else did they sign any midfielders?
They wanted Neves, but I don't think that's happening.
They're stronger. They signed Brian Gill as well, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
They're stronger. They're one to look out for, I suppose. West Ham finished 6th, did they? Yeah. They signed Alphonse Areola, Kurt Zouma, Alex Kroll, and Nikola Vlasic. I can't help but feel once the Europa League comes round, West Ham might drop out a little bit.
I think they will.
And then Leicester was 5th, right?
Yeah. Leicester signed Dakar, Samare, Bertrand, and Lookman. They went about their business very shrewdly as usual.
They done it early as well.
Yeah, so Samare and Dakar have got full pre-seasons. So yeah, they're probably a fixed finish in top 6. I think Spurs, West Ham. Do we have enough to oust them too?
I would. Do you know what? I'd be interested to see the effect of Spurs' travel in the Europa Conference.
Yeah,
because it's quite hefty. If they start to struggle with that, then I think that we can oust them to a certain extent. I think we can oust West Ham. Leicester's the sticking point for me. I think with Leicester it'll be a bit difficult because I think it all comes down to how their signings adapt. Because I think as soon as Patson Daka adapts, Vardy will be out. Harvey Barnes coming back for them is massive. It'll be interesting if he can stay injury free. It's the defence for Leicester as well.
Oh, they signed Vestergaard as well, didn't they?
I don't think that's an important signing, to be honest. I didn't think he was that great at Southampton.
No. Obviously, top 4 you don't think we're close to that. Do you want to send the link to Gaz as well?
Here comes Stuart. All right, we'll let him in. Here he comes. Which is good, because again, I've got to go in 50 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go myself at 10.
Stu! I like the wallpaper.
How you doing, guys?
Hello, mate.
We're tired.
Yeah, I bet you are. But what a shift you put in. Impressive.
We got to do it, It's deadline day.
Yeah.
There's hope. There's always hope. I mean, they got to write back. Got to give them that. They needed a right back. They got to write back. Interesting looking right back.
It just baffles me because we got linked 3 days before the start of the transfer window and we've waited until deadline day to sign him.
Well, let's hope he's a good one. Let's hope we've got our man and it can make all the difference to the squad because we need all the help we can get right now, right?
Absolutely.
The thing that was interesting and it really flew under the radar was that we was actually speaking to TOMIYASU or whatever the fuck his name is now.
Mm-hmm. TOMIYASU, yeah.
That's it. We was actually speaking to him around about the 5th of August and it just completely flew under the radar with everybody because it was in the Express under a Tottenham article.
It just seems that when they want to, they can do something. This deal came together like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid have signed Griezmann on loan with a 34 million obligation.
See that's oh wow. See, market opportunity missed.
And,
Could have swapped
and
him
there's
for
still
Lacazette.
so many out there. Welcome.
Hey,
Good to
how
have
are
you
you
in
doing,
the
guys?
pod.
Good to see you all.
And you, mate?
Shattered.
You know what I think it is, though?
Go ahead.
The problem is that actually our signings this year have been really smart. We've really look, there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. It's pretty clear there's stuff going on, but when you look at the transfer dealings, it looks pretty smart. You know, right age profile, filling gaps that we know we had, and trying to be creative filling those gaps. And 6 signings is pretty good, and they've all got up. They've all got high ceilings, haven't they? They've all got upside. Very limited risk, I would say, on the majority of them. And where I think it goes wrong, or in terms of the whole Twitter debate of as to whether Arsenal have done a good year, a good transfer window or not, comes down to Galacticos, in my opinion. Comes down to the perception of where Arsenal are heading and the type of players we're trying to buy. So when you have the Man Uniteds and the Chelseas of this world spending, astronomical amounts of money on one player, you get lots of fans get quite uptight about it because they feel like Arsenal should be competing. Well, you can only do that with 1 or 2 players. But what Arsenal are trying to be is smart and spending their money on players they actually need and that are fairly risk-free. And I have to applaud what they've done. I just hope it works because it has to work.
Well, I agree with that. I just think they could have done more and would have done more. We were saying this in the morning. It's clear the club, they had money to spend. But the inability to get all of there's still a lot of deadwood, and the inability to get people like Kolasinac and Ketia, El Neni blocked I agree with you. I think I like these moves, but they could have done a couple more. Abraham is the one that kills me. If they could have gotten Eddie out of the door, Abraham waited days to come here and said, I want to go to Arsenal. And we couldn't bring him in because they couldn't move Eddie on. And that's the kind of thing that drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think that's my view on it. I think it's been, as we sit here today, knowing that we've finally got the right back, I think it's been a good window. But as you say, Ralph, it could have been great. I think that's the difference because the sales are the ones. It just blows my mind the fact that we've got the England under-21 record goal scorer. We've got a versatile 24-year-old England international. These players are in demand. If we were trying to sign those 2 players from another Premier League team, think of the prices that we'd be quoting and think of us guys saying, let's pay those prices as well. Mm-hmm. And that's something, it kind of occurred to me a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned it to Stu at the time, is that we spent a lot of time in this window saying the market's dead. We can't sell it. There's no interest in our players. And I just felt in sales, that's not an excuse. If you're working in any industry in sales, you can't just tell your boss, no one wants to buy my stuff. It's on you to market it, to showcase it, to tell your buyer what problem this player is going to solve for you. Sell the player, figuratively and literally. And that's where I think we failed because it's cost us a Xhaka replacement. Because I think if we've got the sales, we'd probably take 17 million instead of 20 million euros. And that's a big issue for me. And as you say, the Tammy Abraham one is the one because every time he scores a goal in Serie A, every time he plays well, we're going to see that and we're going to sit here and think, damn, we could have had that player. He's an Arsenal fan. He wanted to join. He delayed signing for a week for that club because he was waiting for us and we just couldn't do it. So it's been good, but it could have been great. I tell you what, it's a lot better today having signed a right back than I was feeling yesterday, though. I'll give you that.
Funny you should say that. We had James Benge on this morning, earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
And he basically said that Arsenal weren't actively trying to move those players. They were just waiting around for someone to come and buy them. And he said, well, Edu
Actually, what you said, you got to sell them, right?
Yeah. We've seen it so many people. I mean, Brighton was the one, wasn't it, with Nketiah? You look at their metrics. fantastic side. They didn't have the goal scorer. They didn't have the player to finish off those chances they created under Potter last season. You ring them up and say, look, guys, we've got a poacher here. We've got a player that's fantastic in the 6-yard box, deadly. He's record goal scorer for the England 21 team. He could be your man. Have a think about that. Just plant the seed and then maybe whip it away and go and talk to another club. And suddenly Brighton thinking, hold on, we might actually want that guy. And you're creating the market for the player. I think that's where we failed. Yeah.
I was just saying to Raf about half an hour ago, Arsenal apparently agreed a fee with Palace, and Eddie failed to agree personal terms.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, well, you're going to a Premier League team with very, very good attacking options. All they need is a finisher. You're going to be playing consistently every week in the Premier League. You score 15 to 20 goals. Who knows? You might even go to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Why are you sitting on your contract? Why for a better deal next summer, which you might not get?
Yeah.
I said to Raf, I think he's going to end up in the Championship. I think he's missed his opportunity.
Yeah, it could be another Benicophobe now because it'll be a situation where he hasn't played for 2 or 3 years properly. And that affects you. At that age, you need to be playing. You've got to be playing. That's where you learn. You make your mistakes at that age. So, yeah.
It's I don't think he's going to play at all. I think Arteta's going to invest more time in Balogun because he signed up and he committed his future. So Eddie has really messed his future up there.
These guys also pointed out Balogun and Eddie have the same agent. How does that agent not know, hey, you can sit at Arsenal, but you're not going to play? They've made their commitment to my other client.
Right? The thing is as well, you've got to take into consideration that we offered Eddie an extension as well, and that got flat out rejected because he didn't want to be here. And if he didn't want to be here, as Ryan said, you got Palace right there offering you terms, and you thinking, oh, I can get a bigger signing on fee somewhere else. I physically don't think that clubs will look at the whole situation. They'll look at that and go, he hasn't got the right mentality for us.
Well, it's funny. What he's doing today, what he and his agent are doing today is what Aouar and his agent did in October last year. And when they grabbed money and they passed on moving to Arsenal over money, when both clubs had wanted the deal, they showed we're not ambitious. We just want money. And that's what Eddie's doing right now. Other clubs see that. I don't know who's going to come in for Eddie next in the January window and offer him a better deal than Palace would have offered him. Who knows what they offered him. But I don't see who's going to offer him a better deal a few months from now.
It's like Lacazette as well, isn't it?
It's interesting that Palace haven't confirmed Edouard yet as well, isn't it? You just thought they'd have announced that.
I reckon that one might be going down to the old deal sheet.
Yeah.
I'm actually upset about that because we should have signed him.
Yeah. There's quite a few players floating around today on decent values that we could have had a sniff at. Look at McKennie being off to Burnley. That was weird, but he's obviously there. Obviously, but Kamara, Sanchez has obviously been available all day. Edouard, as you say. So there's one or two there, but I think I was watching the stream, but just before I came on, and I think you guys were saying that it just means that the January window is perhaps shaping up nicely for a few bargains there. So watch this space, maybe.
I think we're in need actually. Come January, providing the African Nations Cup goes ahead, we potentially lose 2 central midfielders, and that's on the proviso that El Neni's not going to Turkey anytime soon. There's still a week to go. There's a good.
We lose 2 strikers.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a difficult sell in the January window, especially if you're a club that has a clear need, to bring players in. I was surprised actually to learn of so many good young central midfielders available today of all days, and I'm surprised we didn't take a punt on maybe a loan with an option just on the basis of covering or closing a few more gaps. Because, like I say, I think we've done a decent job, but I think there still are gaps in this squad. And I'm still slightly bemused at central midfield and striker, because I think, we've all talked about this probably for the last 12 months, actually, that in central midfield we can be better. I think we've all accepted we can be better. Shaka Cat could have been improved. They're probably trying to improve, but couldn't get there. And up front, at the moment, we still have the same relatively limited attacking options. We don't have any variety. We're playing the same way every game. And that's where Abraham, I'll make you right, Gaz, Abraham would have been a really strong signing for Arsenal. He might still become an Arsenal signing. We might just have to pay double for him next year.
Well, what's the name? You're looking at 80 million euros for his release clause over in Italy now.
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous considering what you had him for 34. 40.
Yeah. He's going to score 25 this season, isn't he? 25 goals plus for them.
Well,
in that league.
The difference, I was going to say, Stuart, when you were talking about January, the difference in this January is that there are going to be a lot of players who can be signed on pre-contracts, basically for frees. And I'm wondering, like a player like Kamara, who rejected Newcastle and Wolves today. Let's say you need a midfielder. You can probably then go sign him to a pre-contract in January, and you might be able to say, hey, here's $2 million. We want him now, right? And they're like, well, we're going to lose him for nothing anyway. Sure. And you can get a bargain that way. My only hope is that if we're reaching that, it looks we're less than 2 hours now. So we're going to this, is that there's a cooler, better head in charge of making these calls in January. Because I think at this point they need a new director of football, and they might need a new manager then too. So,
I think the positive outlook I'm looking at now is they obviously don't want players that they're half sure about. So they'd rather wait it out to get someone they really are sure about, that they really want, instead of paying 15 to 20 million for a player they're not really sure of and having them sit on the bench eating up wages and squad space. So I think that's what happened with Cedric, Mari, and the likes of those guys.
Yeah. Just buying them just in case. We've got them here, let's sign them. Maybe that's why we haven't gone for loans as well, because I think loans are, is the player really... You look at the examples of Tobias. The first year was decent. Second year wasn't interested. And, when he talks about his culture and what he's trying to create in the squad, maybe he wants players who are committed for the long term. So maybe that's why, Stu, and that's what you said, maybe that's why they didn't go for a loan. But I was surprised that they didn't go for a loan. I thought they'd always get one because it's like a free extra player.
I'm surprised we've spent money today, Gaz, to tell you the truth. I thought it would be a loan. When I heard about the player coming in, I thought, this would be a loan with an option. But actually put down cold hard cash on him, which was a real surprise. It's not a cheap amount either. 20 million plus a couple in bonuses is decent money.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I mean, I knew nothing about him until I did enough. The same research a lot of people on Twitter did today. But my son knew all about him, and that's because he plays a lot more FIFA than I do, and was telling me all about him. But it genuinely looks like a really, really solid player. And the thing I like about him the most is his athleticism and his strength and his height. Really exciting, and he's got some pace about him as well for a big lad.
Yeah.
I was saying to Raf, he's going to really mitigate the need for aerial winners on that side of the pitch. Yeah. They're going to target Ben White. He's just going to come across and be like, all right.
Yeah.
You know what?
Which helps.
I think, actually, he might transition Ben White out into right back, personally.
Might do. You might swap it around in game.
Interesting. I wondered whether they revert back to a back three. I mean, Gabriel on the left and I can Tomisai. Is it Tomisai? How do you pronounce it? Tomiyasu on the right.
Been butchering it all day, mate.
You got time. We're in a break. We're in international break every day, 100 times.
and play White in that centre, and then sort of move him into that DM role at times during the match. I don't know, but he likes his three at the back, doesn't he, Arteta? Certainly, he had his best spell as manager with a three at the back.
Back when he seemed to be a bit more pragmatic at that time.
Yeah. But I do think, though, when we play three at the back, we lose something going forward. I feel like you're leaving a really good forward player out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it'll either be Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka. One of them is going to be left out, and I'm not sure you can drop any of them at the moment.
No, we need goals. Club needs goals.
I was saying to the boys earlier, I think we could transition to a 4-3-3, having Smith Rowe as the 8, Odegaard as the 10, sort of 10, and Tomiyasu will transition as an extra midfielder when we attack.
Yeah, I saw that he played CDM, hadn't he, for Bologna a few times last season. I saw that on the stats. So yeah, that's definitely not very versatile.
Sort of how Kyle Walker does for City. He just sits in that space next to Fernandinho.
Yeah.
And lets the two midfielders roam. I think we could play like that.
Yeah, we've seen Ash Maitland-Niles doing that as well, haven't we? Dropping into midfield as a bit of a, what they call it, inverted fullback. He's that.
What's your opinions on the Maitland-Niles situation? I feel like it's been completely unnecessarily messy.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, I want to say, and I'll let Stu come in on this as well, but I think Arsenal were right to reject the offer from Everton. A loan with an option. They're a direct rival, whether we like it or not, they are. Why should we help them out?
2-year loan.
Yeah.
Which will take him to the end of his contract.
Yeah. So they were absolutely right to do that. And Maitland-Niles can't complain about that. And I think we probably did say to Everton in the last 24 hours, make us an offer. And, had they've made probably 10 million would have got him, and they clearly didn't do that. But I would say that I'm glad he's staying because I like him. I think all of us here in this pod like him. And I'm glad he's staying, but it's all about the attitude, isn't it? And has the air been cleared? And is he going to get the games now? Because keep him, but then play him. Because I want to see him play. Whether it's right back, I'd even happily see him in midfield for a few games. Let's see if that does work. But yeah, it's been messy, and a lot of the stuff that's came out. But look, it's him though, isn't it? He was the one who put the message out on Instagram. And I think a number of people said last 24 hours, this sort of thing happens all the time in football. Players don't get the moves they want. But not every player puts it on Instagram in an unprofessional manner like that. So,
but it's very notorious of his agent because he made Sterling do that hour interview with the BBC about leaving Liverpool, didn't he? And
yeah, I'm pretty sure he done the same with Oxlade-Chamberlain as well.
Yep.
Various ways to skin a cat. It's a PR nightmare. It's very, very difficult actually for because different agents have different ways, but from a PR context, just not the right way to conduct yourself. And if you've got a manager in any walk of life that is quite strict, then you're going to find yourself in a whole world of bother. I'd love to know what they spoke about today. It would have been a great conversation to be a fly on the wall for.
We'll find out next summer, won't we?
Yeah, we will. Yeah. yeah. If not before the Ozil documentary, that's going to be interesting.
You blatantly know he's going to try and get that in before the Arsenal one drops.
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah, maybe an hour before. You never know. Maybe you can watch the two back to back. Yeah, but I hope Ainsley Maitland. I'm the same as you, Gaz. I really like him as a player, and I was so angry yesterday. There was a bit of me that was kind of thinking to myself, how have we got to this position? How have we got to this place where a hair lender? If it was anybody else, if it was a player that, let's be honest, we're trying to get out the door, I don't think anyone would care. It'd still be bad. It'd still be bad publicity, but I don't think anyone would really care because he's a guy that we've seen play for Arsenal, grown up an Arsenal player. You kind of want to see him succeed, or at least give it his best go. And then for all this to kick off, you start thinking, well, what the heck is going on behind the scenes at Arsenal? Is it really as bad as people are making out? I hope they sort it out, and I hope he gets some game time this year.
Yeah. Where do you think he's playing this season?
I've got the foggiest. I don't see a position for him.
I don't know.
Maybe in January when everyone disappears off to the African Nations Cup, perhaps.
Yeah, and that could literally be why they're keeping him. Yeah, to slot him in centre mid for 3 or 4 games in January, because he's not going to play right back now, is he? I mean, he might come on as a right back, but. Yeah,
he could play as a right wing back with TOMIYASU. Him.
Yeah.
Right side.
Tommy.
Tommy, that's a good name.
TOMIYASU. Break it
you
in half.
you still got Cedric. So where's Cedric going to play? This is the issue. When you play cup games, maybe Cedric's the cup game right back. But where's Ainsley Maitland-Niles going to play?
I'd rather Cedric just didn't play, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was saying to Sam during the West Brom game, I think I'd like to see a Maitland-Niles Partey midfield.
Yeah.
I think that's got a very good dynamic to it, personally.
Yeah. I'd like to see that as well, yeah.
I think yesterday during the news, while the Maitland-Niles news was breaking, was the most reactionary I've ever been towards Arsenal. I was ready to with them.
I think we all
couldn't
were.
believe that.
Horrible 24 hours yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I think they've redeemed themselves today somewhat because we needed that right back. We've got a right back. And I think that we can't really sit and say, oh, we didn't want that one or we wanted this one. We needed a right back and we've got one. A pretty good one by the look of it. So let's move forward. I think the squad now is so much more balanced. I believe it's a top 6 squad with the right manager. Hopefully that's Mikel. Let's see. I think it's the next 4 to 6 weeks that are going to decide that. I think it's a squad that even a new manager could come into, and we wouldn't have to have 2 years of let's wait till he's got the right players. Let's wait till he's moved this player on, that player on. Because as we've said, the profiles there, these are all young players, plenty of room for development, very versatile, talented. I think that even if it doesn't go right for Mikel in the next 6-8 weeks, the next guy to come in is going to look at that squad and think, yeah, I can do something with this. This is a squad of high quality players that I can work with. So, yeah.
Jacob made a good point earlier. He said, this is Arteta's 11 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the players have had new contracts or they've been signed by Arteta. He has no excuse. This is his 11.
Yeah, the depth is still a bit iffy in certain positions, but the starting 11 is definitely his starting 11 now.
Yeah.
He's just a striker away now. He's a target man away, in my opinion, from a complete squad and maybe a central midfielder.
And Zukic is a free agent if you like your target men.
I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. He's like the Oxfam version of Ibrahimovic.
You've probably still been kind.
Yeah.
See, if we was going
it's
for,
getting a bit late, isn't it? Like, there's no Bellerin announcement either. I'm getting a bit worried.
do you know what? I saw a tweet saying that apparently Real Betis are getting a bit more confident because they sorted their issues out with La Liga.
Yeah,
And then
Ornstein confirmed it, didn't he? He said all documents are signed by Betis, Arsenal and Bellerin for the loan move. Once the governing body of Spain's top flight gives the green light, the transfer will be announced. So it's paperwork, I think.
What are they waiting for? Like, what's this all about?
But all like Italian media and that saying that they've been given a green light.
Yeah.
It's just all up in the air at the moment.
Well, let's not think of what might happen if that doesn't get approved. Yeah.
I think we'll still take our man, regardless.
Yeah, they would have to.
Let's have 5 right backs. Who cares?
Southgate style.
Just yeah.
We need 5 right backs because Spurs have got 4.
Well,
You know.
England took 5 right backs to the Euros in the summer, so there's nothing wrong with it, really.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
I'm glad Hector's got his move though. His boyhood team and that.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
I'm quite looking forward to seeing how some of the loanees get on, though. There's a few kids have gone out and with great futures or potentially great futures at Arsenal, like Miguel Aziz gone to Portsmouth. Really excited to see how he'll get on. He's got when they play in that type of league, playing against players that are essentially playing for pensions. They're going to give him a good kick around, and it's a great learning curve. It's really good to see how he develops because now is his time to actually get 30 odd games in the league and really sort of test himself against proper footballers that are out there to really do something. It'd be really good to see how he develops and hopefully come back an even better player. And then I suspect he'll go out on loan again next year. But there's a few in there, even with Reece Nelson. It'd be great to see how he gets on a final.
So happy he signed an extension on that as well, because it just gives us that last chance with him now. If he has a good season over there, he might come back. And can he transition to? Will we need a winger this time next year? Possibly. If you look at the Aubameyang situation, I think it's a great move. And on Aziz, he's taken a huge step forward physically, hasn't he, in the last 12 months?
He's stocked. Yeah.
I think that's why they've decided to send him out, because I think otherwise they'd have probably kept him this year, just give him a few games, 4 or 5. But I think they've looked at him and thought, actually, this guy's ready for a full season. Let's give it to him. So, yeah, you're very, very happy to see it.
It's interesting they've sent him somewhere where they've kind of looked after our players before and have helped out. So it looks like they've done their homework on where they're sending loanees and stuff, which is something that generally has improved in the last few years, kind of not just going, we'll loan you here and there.
Yeah, and that all falls down to Ben Knapper. Who's our loan manager, and he's really getting the best out of our loanees in the clubs, because you think about Aziz as well. If I remember correctly, Portsmouth have got Danny Crowley as manager. Danny Crowley was the one to look after Emil Smith-Rowe at Huddersfield. So if he can do what he done for Smith-Rowe, then hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's how you invest in your squad, though, isn't it? Your players go out and look at what Chelsea have done. I mean, did anyone recognise the name? I can't remember the guy's name now. The Ukrainian chap they've just sold for 18 million quid. I mean, who the heck is he? I couldn't even tell you who he's played for.
No,
but that's serious money for a kid who's been out on loan somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing.
It's the same as the one that went to Palace as well. You're like, who's this guy?
Gooner, yeah.
And we're struggling to get 10 million for bloody Eddie Nketiah.
It's because we stockpile players, just get them out on loan, get them tested in different leagues, get them some experience.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to sell them.
No.
Sometimes just sell them. These days you can stick a buyback in anyway. So if it really does go wrong, you can still bring him back. That's what Chelsea did at Livramento. Like, I remember you guys were saying a lot about him in the summer when he was up for grabs. Obviously, he went to Southampton. He's been brilliant so far. He's been one of the best players in that position in the league in the first 3 games. And but Chelsea got the buyback, so they will literally buy him back in 3 years and put him in the team. And we could do that as well. But that's something we've always done. We've been scared to sell players. It's always just, they might explode. They might be the next big thing. Let's not sell them yet. And that's why we're in this position now with a lot of them. Maitland-Niles, last summer, Wolves, 15 million. We can't sell him because he's just been man of the match in Charity Shield and called up for England. Better not sell him. And then
not play him.
Yeah. And West Ham were in for Nketiah last January. 15 million, even 20 million was talked about. And Arteta was forthright. He's not for sale. And he proceeded not to play him for the rest of the season. Look at us now. So,
So I saw a tweet earlier saying Arsenal have turned down £80 million worth of bids in the last year.
Let's believe
Bellerin to PSG. Was it 25 million they offered?
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have brought Lautaro and Martinez.
Hakimi at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't take Hakimi at that time. We do. Who knows? So I think there's a few green shoots there in terms of what's happened with the squad. I think we're all worried, aren't we, about what's going on behind the scenes, maybe. But I don't know. I definitely feel better tonight than I did this time yesterday. That's for sure, lads. For sure.
I do think if Arteta had the right structure above him, I think he would be.
Yeah.
He would succeed a little bit more if he had the experience above him that he could lean on a little bit. I was saying to Raf earlier when we were talking between us, the structure that Emre had, where he had Gazidez, Raul, Sven, Edu, that was the perfect structure. Maybe not the right people, but the right structure.
Yeah.
And if that structure was above Arteta with the right people, I think he probably would succeed at Arsenal.
I don't think he's too. We know he's a proud guy. We know he's quite stubborn. But is he really, as a rookie manager, is he really going to turn down the opportunity to have a fairly senior sort of director of football, tech director above him? Because he knows that they don't get the credit anyway.
Yeah.
So he's.
Well, if rumours are to be believed, him and Edu have fallen out.
Yeah, I read that tonight as well.
If
Things true, don't it?
Yeah, you could sense it a little bit.
Maybe he didn't like what Eddie prepared on his barbecue for him. He's
I'm
more
getting
of a
food poisoning.
fillet steak man.
This is a pink burger.
Probably cursing him because Arteta's taking the brunt of the abuse and Edu's in bloody Monaco celebrating Keane's birthday.
Yeah, he gave him the rump steak. He wanted the fillet. Yeah, yeah, we got to sort the structure of this club out. I mean, this can't go on forever. So it's not healthy.
Do you think that will be sorted out under the Cronkies though? Because it just doesn't seem like it is. It seems like they're taking advice off of random people, bouncing around structure to structure, and just haven't found it.
Well, I've got a theory on the Cronkies anyway, but in terms of while the Cronkies are still with us, now I think they will sort it out because I think eventually you get lucky and you just somehow everything kind of connects. You bring the right person in and it all kind of trickles down. So eventually I think they'll spend wisely on bringing the right person as their number 2, and they will make the right decisions underneath and it will all be fine. But it all hinges on who they bring in directly under them. The problem, as I see it, is I think Josh is trying his hardest. I think he's listened, he's opened his eyes, he's seen what the problems are. But sadly, he doesn't have the experience or the competence from a footballing perspective to make it work. So I think he really needs the right people below him that he can trust and trust to get the decisions correct or largely correct to be able to trickle down. I don't blame Arteta in this situation at all. I think it was grossly unfair on him as a young rookie coach to be given the managerial title. Yeah. I didn't think it was necessary. And that's a whole world of additional responsibility, presumably so, that he actually didn't need because he was doing a fine job coaching that team. And the difference, I think, perceptually from coach to manager is significant from a player's perspective. Just didn't need to do that for that to be the case. And they stripped down the amount of executives, haven't they now, down to just a few. And what you're hearing is pretty negative things coming out of the club from the media, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah,
I'd like
Sam and I. Go on, sorry, guys.
I was going to say I'd like to see a functioning board. We've got a puppet board at the moment that's powerless. You need a 4, 5, 6 person board that the director of football reports into and the coach reports into the director of football. So you've got a clear hierarchy on who's making the decisions. Because it's like we've looked at this already. If Arteta gets fired in the next 6 to 8 weeks, well, who makes the decision to do that? And then who replaces him and who decides who's going to replace him? Let's say you've got a board of 6 Arsenal people, Arsene Wenger, chairman. They report in, they know what decisions are going on, they understand football, they know what's going on, they can make the decisions. At least then. At least you can have some trust or whatever on who's making decisions. And that's the issue for me.
Do you know who it is, though? Is it Richard Garlick that makes the decisions?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's Vinay that makes the big decisions.
So what does sorry, I'm going to plead ignorance on this. What does Richard Garlick do as his main role within the organisation?
He's a closer, apparently.
A closer. What does a closer do?
Closes all the deals.
Oh, okay.
Deals.
Is he a Dick Law? Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
good old Dick. I miss Dick Law.
Sam and I heard a few weeks ago that Josh actually took over the negotiations for Odegaard and Ramsdale. That's why they were done so quickly.
Gotcha.
And sorry, who took over? Josh
Kroenke. He was here and he took over because Ramsdale was dead in the water. And then Josh was like, get back on the phone.
Well, if they ever need to recognise the fact that being present rather than absent gets things moving, then there you go. That they know that themselves now.
Because Edu was going to get Odegaard on loan with an option. Edu's like, as Josh said, no.
Yeah.
Pay 30 million for him.
Wow. Yeah.
Serge Aurier is terminating his contract. I thought serious clubs don't terminate.
Is that breaking now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think's interesting at the moment? Tim Lewis's role at Arsenal. Because with him, he's Kroenke's eyes and ears. Well, was
Meant to be.
is. Yeah. And if Josh is going to be over here permanently, then is there a need for Tim Lewis? Because essentially, over the last 18 months, over 3 windows, Edu has been under the microscope, so to speak, and he's essentially failed. So why hasn't Tim Lewis been recommending that he's been ousted, especially after the last January window, to enable us to fully prepare for this one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tim Lewis is, well, the news around him was he was meant to be the one overseeing it, kind of taking control, really stabilizing the club, but we've not heard anything about him since he joined, really.
So, do you remember he was announced as a non-executive director, and then the Super League paperwork was signed by Tim Lewis, the executive director.
Yep.
That baffled me a little bit.
So he's an M&A guy, mergers and acquisitions guy, solicitor by trade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at this for a while, but that's his background. He's a kind of lawyer, solicitor, specializes in M&A, and it's really interesting. I wasn't aware that he was the guy that signed the paperwork. I thought it was the Cronkies that signed the paperwork. That's really fascinating.
I think it was the Madrid Zone Twitter account tweeted out the official paperwork from the Super League and directors who signed it, and Tim Lewis was the one that signed it for us.
Oh,
You reckon that's what he was brought into then? All the legal stuff around the Super League, we just didn't know it at the time.
Good shout, that.
Good shout.
which would bring into question the comments from Josh about it was a kind of a last minute decision, which sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Really, when you think about it.
They all played the same card. They were like, "Oh, it was a last minute decision because this one club decided they were doing it."
I wonder who's WhatsApp, like one Friday evening. Oh yeah, we got this thing going where you're gonna make a lot of money, and it's really cool because like all of your mates are in it, and but the only thing is you're gonna have to leave the main league. But
that's some serious.
Take one for the team.
That's serious FOMO. Like, oh, I don't know if we want to miss out on this. Let's just not think about it and sign some legal paperwork.
Well, if you listen to Real Madrid, it's still going ahead, isn't it? Starting next season.
Yeah, have you not seen the fixture list? 3 teams just rotating.
Round robin. You laugh, Gaz, but I guarantee if they had any chance based on where we're currently positioned, they'd be in there with it. You don't leave the Premier League. That's absolutely fine. Can we go tomorrow?
Well, we're leaving it one way or another at the minute, aren't we?
Playing Real Madrid next week, perfectly fine. Take it out every day.
I might get my season ticket if we're relegated. Oh, silver linings.
So I thought Tim Lewis was coming in because he was involved in the acquisition of Arsenal Football Club by the Cronkies at the start, and with the way the club has been progressing and the way in which football's progressing, with the incredibly the change in terms of how football's being financed, and also how costly it's becoming to stay afloat with the big boys. I thought they might be looking to get out. I still believe that's the case. And I would have thought if they're going to do it, they might want to do it sooner rather than later. I guess it will. Part of that will depend on how this project Arteta's going to go.
Real Betis has obtained the approval of a Liga to register Hector Bellerin. The deal has now been completed entirely on loan without the option to buy. Mundo Deportivo.
Okay, it is done.
Farewell to Hector. How many has he got? 1 year left when he comes back.
Yeah.
Interesting to see where we are with that then.
He's not coming back.
If he can revive his career,
he might, Stu. Yeah, he might come back.
Play with
Nelson.
Yeah. I'm buzzing with that finance shirt. So glad I was finally be able to buy one with a player I like. I've followed Feyenoord since we signed Van Persie from them, which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Official and confirmed. Hector Bellerin joins Real Betis from Arsenal. Yeah, Betis just announced it. Well,
So do you think we'll see some change from the Arsenal executive team over the next month then?
I think Edu's done.
It's all eyes on him, isn't it? Because they wouldn't announce it before the window closed. So it's in the next few weeks we'll hear something on that. Well, almost immediately, because if he's leaving, then his job's done after today, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, well, to be fair, Arsenal are just so random with everything. They sacked Raul Sanelli a week into the transfer window.
Yeah.
So,
And that's always been my thing, is how did Edu survive that, really? Because he's so closely aligned to him with the Kia thing as well. I just...
He latched onto Arteta at the time, didn't he? Like, but yeah, he got away with one there, and everyone then kind of went, okay, well, maybe he is good, and he was held back by Raul, and yeah, he's not proved as any differently to he should have gone at the time then.
I think the only thing that was saving grace for him is I can kind of get on board with the latching onto Arteta, but he was because do you remember the big old PR that Arsenal made about the technical director? Oh, it needs to be an Arsenal clubman, needs to understand the history of Arsenal, blah de blah de blah. And I think literally after that big old charade of a PR campaign, that was the only thing that was saving him.
In fact, he was an Arsenal man, yeah.
I think they missed the point on that, though, Sam.
Huh?
I think they missed the point on that. It doesn't have to be an Arsenal man. It just needs to be someone who understands the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, football man, yeah. And if it had to be an Arsenal man, then you know, and I know there's mixed views on him, but it's Overmars then, isn't it? He's got the experience.
So,
but
Stu mentioned him yesterday, and I scoffed at the idea. I was like, he's rubbish. And then I spoke to a few people, like my friends at the training ground, and I said, what about Overmars? What can you tell me about him? And they said he's so hard-headed, he gets what he wants all the time. Great approach to selling, great approach to buying, and he's universally liked across football.
Yeah.
Can you say the same about Edu? People were making jokes about him last year.
Yeah.
Saying that we're amateurs and that.
And again, you know, you look at the fact that he's just inexperienced, isn't he, Edu? I mean, he's coming from even in Brazil, he never really had this equivalent role, did he? He was the coordinator for the national team, which I guess is just about keeping tabs on the players and organising stuff. And
do you think KSC went with the cheapest option?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because buying out a technical director from another club probably pretty expensive.
Yeah, but didn't Raul go with the cheapest option? Wasn't it Raul working with his mate Kia? And isn't Edu Kia's
Kia's his agent,
yeah.
Hence why you got the shit show from Kia on TalkSport today.
Oh
yeah. Sort of something like that.
I thought we were done with his comments in the media, but he had to get one last dig in, didn't he?
I can't wait for Edu to go and then Kia to start piping off, going, "Oh, Edu was held back, bloody blah."
Yeah. They'll try and blame Arteta in some way, but Arteta will probably be quite happy for that to happen, because I think he'd expect that most people will be savvy enough to sort of see through that. And obviously it removes his association with those two as well. So
yeah, it's quite funny because The Athletic released an article saying Arteta didn't really want Willian, he just went with it because Edu was pushing it. And then Kia today said, Arteta was the driver behind the signing. Poor the other one, lad.
Take your pick on who you believe, I suppose. You're never going to know, are you?
Yeah, I think by the end of this season, I don't think either of them will be here, personally.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make the change, you make it tomorrow, don't you? And you out, and then you bring somebody else in. And
watch. I think they'll give him a chance to resign before they have to fire him. And then, because he's an invincible, you know, that's what Raul did. I've found a new project, yada yada yada, all boilerplate, and Off he
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
They'll let
Back
him
to
save
Brazil.
face.
I think Arsenal waited a bit too long to sack Emery. I think they waited a month too long, and they didn't really give us enough opportunity to get the right manager in. Because what happened? We went with Lundberg, didn't we? And Per on the sideline, wasted a month of the season.
Yeah.
And then Arteta came in. I think if they sacked him at the international break in October, or was it September? Might have been September. We had just lost 1-0 to Sheffield United, and for many people that was it, including I think us three on the pod. We was done with him.
Yeah.
I think they should have sacked him then. I think that's where another point that Gads you made earlier. They're scared to do it. Be proactive.
Yeah.
They're
You've got to
scared
make the
do
calls.
things like that.
You've got to make the calls. And I mean, you look at the fixtures now, guys, as well, talking about Arteta now, and it's such a tightrope, isn't it? Because if he doesn't beat Norwich, he's got to go. But if he beats Norwich, but then doesn't beat Burnley, he's probably got to go as well. And let's say he wins both of them games, and then we get beat by Spurs, there's no say he's got to go then as well. So he's almost got to put a series of results together to almost buy himself slightly longer after that. It's such a knife edge, isn't it, at the moment with him? Despite everything that we've spoke about tonight, about a bit more positive, I guess, tonight. But the cold, hard results are still there. And again, this just comes straight back to the fore with them games.
Yeah, I said to Raf earlier, if he can put a win against Norwich, a win against Burnley, and then beat Spurs, that changes our season.
Yeah.
I think that is the trampoline for us to bounce forward with it.
I mean,
beat Spurs, and that transcends us forward.
yeah, the first 3 games he's got that caveat of 1, it was 2 big clubs, and 2, he hasn't played his starting 11 yet. But now, as we're saying, that starting 11 is his team now. If they are available and he's still not getting results, I don't think he's got any back in then. But I guess you've just given him this right back today. You've got to give him that chance to implement it and have those couple of games. But yeah, if he hasn't got anything by sort of mid-October, that international break around then, I just don't know. I don't think you have a choice then.
He's got to beat Norwich and
Everyone's
Burnley.
announced.
I think he can survive a draw against Spurs if he wins the next 2. I think that
Who does he
people
have
still
after
look at it.
Spurs?
Palace.
Yes, a couple of other decent games after that.
Pretty sure it's Palace after that.
You know, if he goes and beats Spurs, then I think he buys
Brighton, then
himself
Palace.
a lot of time.
Oh, for sure, yeah. If he wins the next 3, then I think people will start getting more confident, especially if the performances are good as well. When the metrics start to turn in our favour a little bit, you know, we could certainly do with a couple of clean sheets as well. You know, I'll take the 6 points to start with. You know, we got that Wimbledon game as well in between before the Spurs game. So actually, you could potentially be looking at 3 wins going into the Spurs game, which would be nice, I think. Because look, I think, I don't know about you guys, I want him to be successful. I'm desperate for him to. There's a lot of people who just dislike the guy. I don't dislike him because I feel that he knows this club. He loves this club. He cares about he cares a little bit more about the bigger picture, I think, than a lot of managers do these days. Because otherwise he wouldn't be looking at players like the sorts that we've signed. He'd be looking for more ready-made players in the prime of the career and stuff. So I respect that, and I want him to do well. Desperate for him to do well. So I really hope he can turn it around. Really hope he can. It's a big ask, though, I think, at this point.
So after Spurs, he has Brighton away, Palace at home, Villa at home, Leicester away, Watford at home. In them 6 games, 6 is it? 7 games. You should get?
Yeah, because you've got the
19
Liverpool.
points.
It's Liverpool after that, then, isn't it? It's November the 20th. So yeah,
Realistically, you should be getting 15 to 19 points.
Yeah.
I think he needs a run. He needs a run of games where he's going to win, draw, win. Because if he doesn't, then it'll be the same old arguments. You know, and I think, guys, part of the problem is he doesn't always help himself. I think there's very few people out there who desperately want him to fail. I mean, I do know some, but I don't understand the logic there. But there are certain things that he does, I think that you do have to question. I mean, a good example of that would be Granit Xhaka when he gets sent off. Why pat him on the back? What was the need to do that? You know, I mean, that's
You used to see it all the time with
crazy
Wenger.
thing.
He wouldn't look at the player. He'd just look straight ahead as the guy had been sent off. But trust me, we saw that enough times with Wenger, didn't we? Red cards.
Yeah, exactly.
You blank them because you don't want to sort of almost think. A lot of the time, they were probably thinking, "Well done, that was worth it for whatever reason." You know, late in the game or something. But you can't. Yeah, you can't do that. And you're right. It is them little things.
It's just
Even if you
inconsistency and confusion that's creating trouble for him that he doesn't need and desperately needs to avoid. And if you can get a run together, there's no reason why he can't get it back on track.
Yeah. I think with the red card, even if you don't think he is, don't show like sympathy to the player being sent off, letting the team down.
Yeah.
Because what does that say to the players on the pitch?
Yeah.
Right. And the starting 11 was a bit baffling, to be honest. But
Oh yeah.
I think that was a statement to say that these are not good enough, and ultimately it come down to it going down to Edu again. It hasn't worked.
I think we're about done there, guys. There's nothing else happening, is there?
no.
Now it's all gone quiet.
Yeah.
Are we gonna push one more hour, Ryan, or is this time to tap out?
I'm ready to go to bed, if I'm being honest.
I don't think
so.
we're getting that late superstar centre midfielder, are we?
No.
I just want to say it's a bit shocking that no one has actually taken a punt on a wall.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid were sniffing around
That
him,
Real
weren't they?
rumor was weird because it was
Yeah.
35 million. Nobody was. He was apparently being offered to everybody by 20, and then Real's going to throw 35, and then I mean that lasted 30 minutes, and then it was dead.
I think there was some suggestion that Leon eventually said, "You know what? I think we're better off keeping him rather than selling him right now in the last minute." So I'm not sure what his contractual situation is. He got 2 years, right, Brian? Or
Yeah, he'll go into the next summer would be his last season.
It does make it all seem a bit weird though that we were willing to put down 50 million or thereabouts last summer. And probably quite good we didn't.
Ornstein report in January saying we'd scouted him and we
James
found
Mines,
flaws.
Yeah.
Found flaws in his mental state or something. Not his performances, but mentally. And there's like some suggestions that he can't get himself psyched up for the small games. Which
Yeah, I remember that coming out because everyone, back in January, everyone was like, right, let's go and get OR. And then it came out and they went, the further scouting is soften their stance on doing the deal.
That's good. That's exactly what we should be doing.
Well, that's a problem this club has. If you look at us last year, actually were respectable against the big clubs. It was dropping points against the weaker clubs. Like they would go out and say, "We're Arsenal. We're just going to beat you." Like, well, not anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's what we did against Brentford. Oh, we're Arsenal. You're newly promoted. We're going to beat you. And
took us by surprise in that, to go in, walking into that cauldron that they had that night. Just we froze.
It was actually hilarious because on the podcast 2 days before, I called every single thing that would happen. Would be beaten aerially and long throws. But Arteta obviously doesn't watch.
I still think he was a bit naughty by the Premier League to put the game on, to be honest, considering.
Yeah. That'll come out in due course. I think Arteta suggested in due course he'll talk a bit more about that. But
We'll see that in the Amazon documentary.
yeah, maybe that's what he means. Yeah. Right, guys, I'm going to drop off. It's been absolutely cracking hour of chat. Hopefully, do it again soon.
Okay,
Definitely.
we have a pod. Yeah, come on back.
G'day, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. All right, gentlemen, I got to tap out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go as well.
Yeah.
I'm dead. I'm dead in the water.
Time to call it then.
We carried the water as far as we could.
Yeah, I'm going to chill and watch the last hour on Sky Sports.
Thank you for having me on again, guys. Appreciate that.
That's
Oh,
All right,
Steve,
Stuart.
thanks for coming.
Jacob, welcome back as
Yeah.
usual.
Catch you soon.
All right, guys, take care.
All right. Ryan,
we got it. Yep.
you're ready to shake out? You look tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've been up since 6:30, sorting things out.
Same.
Got a right back. I'll take it. I wish one more, but I'll take the right back.
Well, it hasn't been announced yet. There's 58 minutes left. Anything can happen.
Don't
Imagine
say
if
that.
we have to
If Hector's being registered, it's going to happen.
Imagine if we have
We
to go
still
for.
got Cedric and Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Oh, shovel.
Oof! Don't go there, man. Don't go there.
I think Lacazette's the one that I'm still more pissed off about, to be perfectly honest.
But I'm gonna shut the stream off now.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
For you guys.
All right, take care.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.